Hey guys, I'm Will from Tested.
And I'm Norm from Tested.
Norman Chan, OS X. There's a new version every fall. It's time. This time we're going to Yosemite.
Yosemite.
Yosemite. It is OS 10.10. This is the 10th version of OS X. This was originally released about 10 years ago.
I can't name all 10 of them. There were cats for like 8.
Jaguar, there was a tiger, there was a leopard, there was a snow leopard, there was a lion.
Mountain lion.
Mountain lion. Then it was Mavericks, and now it's Yosemite. I feel like we're missing 2.
We're definitely missing 2.
The first one I don't think had a cat. I think it was just OS X. And then I don't remember what maybe the first one was Bobcat or something. Do we have a Bobcat in there? This was before I was using OS X. Here we are. It's
Garfield. OS X Garfield.
I hate Mondays. This is Yosemite. It's out, presumably, if not now, then very soon. We're recording this a little bit early.
But the build you're using is the finished build.
It's not the finished build, it's the release candidate 1. So presumably there could be more release candidates after this. We're shooting the video early. Nothing's going to change feature-wise. It would just be bug fixes and stability updates if anything changes between now and actual release. So this is Yosemite, and it is an OS. It is the latest version of OS X. The first thing you'll notice is it looks a ton flatter than the last few versions of OS X.
What happened to that dock?
Remember, it used to slant back and have reflective icons, and now the icons just live on it.
Aww.
That's pretty much all there is to it.
Frosted glass.
It reminds me of the Tiger dock, which I think was the first version of OS X I used in the OS X age. I was a Mac user in college, and now it's back to that. I usually do a magnification and all that stuff, so I have an itsy bitsy little dock down there. I have it big. This is the default settings, I think, for people.
And all of that is still there in terms of the magnification, the icons popping up. You can still dock it to the side.
Yep, you can do all of that stuff. I think you can even drag it. Oh, missed the drag. If you can find a place to click. Whoa, I didn't realize you could do that. That's crazy. You should be able to just drag it and put it wherever you want. Actually, and this position screen is up here, so that's how you do it now. Like I said, I like a little magnification. I usually go tiny to huge. That is, of course, optional. I think this is kind of the default settings. The icons, for the most part, are a little bit redesigned. They're mostly flatter. There's still some drop shadows. The thing that I noticed is that the apps like RDO and some of the flatter iOS style apps like the Evernote stuff, it just blends in naturally with the new design of the icons. I don't know that I really care about icon design too much. One thing I do care about though are the little the traffic light.
How you manipulate windows.
How you manipulate
shortcuts
windows.
to manipulate windows.
Yes.
In Mac OS, it's typically 3 colors: red to close, yellow to minimize, and green to maximize. And the maximization is different than you would expect in Windows, for example, because it only maximizes to a certain part of your screen.
Yeah, it was green to do something random, kind of. So sometimes it would make the window like full height, but the same width. That always weirded me out. Now it's full screen. So it uses the full screen mode that was introduced in, I think, Lion or Mountain Lion.
Which means it takes its own desktop space.
Exactly. So I can scroll back and forth between the full screen version of Chrome. It just worked. It's a good implementation. It is much more predictable. Apps, like if you notice over here in the system preferences, it doesn't have a full screen mode, so there's no option to hit that. You can still minimize it. You can still use that to close. It's much more predictable now, which I actually quite like. I think this is a good change overall.
But if you
welcome.
If you want to use the old full screen mode, is that a toggle?
Do you mean the blue triangle in the top right corner?
No,
it's gone.
The old method of doing full screen?
Can't do it.
I thought you hold Shift and hit it.
Really? You hold Shift? Nope, that just makes it go slower.
No way. We tested this on the podcast.
Control? Nope.
Wow.
This is riveting TV.
Option.
I'm doing Command now. Nope.
That is really disappointing.
Why is this disappointing?
I really like the old full screen mode.
Oh, it was terrible. It was complete. Oh, okay, there you go. Alt. Option.
Well, there you go. It's still there, thank goodness.
Oh, whew. Never get rid of anything. Buried away under a feature. Dark menu. If you like the dark menu, I don't use the dark menu ever, but I know people do, and people got really excited about it. So, oops, it's in desktop.
This is like those websites that you can turn the light version of the website or the dark version of the website.
Wait, where did I see it? Oh my God, I've lost it.
Can you just type it in search?
I could actually. That's probably a good idea. dark menu bar and dock. It's in general, and I just didn't see it.
Highlights it for you.
I still don't see it. Appearance, highlight color, appearance blue, graphite, no.
Try it again. Type dark again. See if it highlights it within even this menu.
Nope. I could have sworn that I saw this. I'm just not seeing it at all. It's here. I literally changed it. Use dark menu bar and dock. There you go.
Check
it's the second option. I was looking for a pull down. So this works really well. The one thing you'll notice is in the notification area, I have a ton of stuff running right now just to illustrate. But like apps that follow the API guidelines, like Fantastical, have a
really
black
good.
and white. It looks really good. Apps like 1Password that maybe don't follow the guidelines so well, they default to black and it looks bad and it is hard to read. The grayed out icons in dark mode are particularly bad. Nothing really else changes except for the menu bar and the background of the dock. It's
purely aesthetic preference.
Yeah, it's for people who want to, if you want to turn off the lights at nighttime, you can do that now. There's a new Today view in the notification pane.
This is something that was introduced a few versions ago. Another feature that's kind of taken from iOS, and that's a trend that we're seeing with OS X, is some, I don't want to call it the iOSification, but the features that make sense that people, not the interface, but the features, actual features, like the Today screen, which is like their Google Now equivalent, that has made it over, and now you get more information.
So yeah, it's previously notifications were just notifications. I cleared all mine before we started this for obvious reasons. But the Today screen, like you said, it's an element that does kind of make sense. I wish that instead of being a thing that you have to click up here to pop out or use a keyboard shortcut, I wish it just showed on the lock screen by default. Like, I feel like that would be really useful and is a thing that I would look at actually before I log into the computer in the morning. Now it supports widgets. So just like the iOS 8 lock screen, you can add and remove the things that you want.
So does that mean the widget screen is completely gone, or when you scroll all the way to the left?
You mean the old classic dashboard screen?
Yes, when you scroll to the left, and that's where your calendar and your calculator.
Well, I'm scrolling. I'm using my 3-finger scroll.
That screen, I only use it to look at the calendar.
So it's not gone.
You can actually enable it still.
You can actually configure it. So you can say dashboard is off as a space or as an overlay. You can assign a keyboard shortcut. Overlay is the old school way that it used to pop up over your existing desktop. If you have it as a space,
that's how
it'll still be your weird thing on the far left.
I like that.
I turned it off immediately. I have no use for the dashboard. Like I said, I haven't seen a whole lot of third-party apps on the Today screen yet. I assume that people who are hardcore into Mac apps will add those to their apps. Maybe they're useful. I don't really see using the Today screen
just the Do Not Disturb toggle is a very useful thing.
That's the most useful. That's the thing I use most often on OS X. On the Today screen, rather.
And that is something that's even more useful now because you get more notifications. There are more things that you can be notified of.
Yes. So the big kind of usability feature, there's a lot of cosmetic stuff in this update, and there's some behind-the-scenes stuff, but the continuity/handoff, and it's unclear to me exactly what those two things mean because they seem like they do the same thing. But the idea is that your phone, your tablet, and your laptop, or your iMac, whatever, are working together more intelligently so that, for example, if somebody calls my phone now, it doesn't just ring on the phone. The iPad also gives me a notification, and the laptop gives me a notification if I'm all on the same Wi-Fi network.
With your phone, you mean
my iPhone? Yes. So it has to be an iPhone. Obviously, your Android phone doesn't do this. So if you call me right now, do you have your phone?
I can do.
Okay. So if you call me right now, it's going to pop up with a notification that says, "Hey, Norman Chan is calling you. Do you want to accept?" Then I don't have to run over to my iPhone. I hope my phone. Oh, you're not. Okay. Hey, wow. That's amazing. Wait, we're on the screen. What's happening here?
Pop up. Is it popping up?
It's not calling. Did you call me?
Wait. Here it goes.
Okay. And now, boom. Okay, so I didn't get there it is. Norman Chan's calling from my phone. I accept it from the laptop, and it's using the speakerphone on the laptop, so you can hear me and talk to me through the phone.
With a waveform.
Yeah, I have a little waveform in the top right. So that works for phone calls, text message. So not just iMessages. Now, when you send me a text message, it shows up everywhere. You can do that. I didn't check to see if it puts your phone number here. So, hey, if you want to call Norm, you can. I find that stuff to be really good. The handoff applies to more things than just phone and text messages, though. Handoff, is it going to work? I don't know.
Handoff.
Okay. Handoff applies to apps as well. So, for example, if I'm browsing Safari on my phone and I run over to the laptop to see I want to open that web page, you have an option to just open it from the lock screen and it'll take you right to the same place you were in Safari. That works mostly with Apple apps right now. Mail, Safari, I want to say Calendar were the three that I actually saw it pop up on. It's a little sporadic. You need to be on the same network, same Wi-Fi network, and have Bluetooth connected to the phone. The neat thing is that iCloud now shares your Bluetooth, like it does Bluetooth pairing for you using your iCloud account as an intermediary. So as long as your device is connected to the internet at some point, all of your tablets, phones, laptops will know, okay, this is Will's iPhone, this is Will's iPad, this is Will's laptop. They know how to talk to each other without you having to pair them. It's a little bit hinky because sometimes if you have like I just upgraded my phone. My old phone and my new phone are both connected to my iCloud account. There's no way to remove that. If that's the kind of thing that bothers you, probably this will make you crazy. I just try not to worry about it at this point. And a long time ago, that would have made me really anxious. The other thing that's new here, and this is my favorite feature of the whole OS.
Okay.
When I pull down the Wi-Fi menu, if my phone's nearby, if my phone is in Bluetooth range, it says, hey, the Duke, my iPhone, is here. It has personal hotspot capability.
It tells you your connection.
It tells me how much battery I have on the phone and what my connection strength is. And I can connect immediately to that.
So you don't even have to enable that on your phone beforehand.
You have to, there's a toggle that's on by default that says use handoff for your phone. If you do that, it just works.
The phone isn't currently in a
I did not put the phone in a
mode.
hotspot mode. The phone's not even on. It's right here.
Right.
I'm holding it in my hand. It's just it's turned on, but the screen's not even on.
And then you can actually enable the hotspot if it's supported.
It'll turn on the hotspot. It connects. You don't have, in the old days, you had to go to the hotspot page, like drill down into settings, personal hotspot, and only then could you pair, even if you have a previously established relationship with the phone.
This makes having an iPad, a 3G or 4G iPad, that much more useful because you can have that in your backpack, be at a coffee shop, and then use Wi-Fi without having to take the backpack out of, or the iPad out of your backpack, and then use that with zero consequence.
I haven't actually tested that to see if it works with the iPad. I would presume that it does. It's a wonderful feature, and it works on the iPad from Wi-Fi iPads to iPhone as well. It's actually why I kept the big iPhone, is because I have enough battery that I don't have to worry about using the personal hotspot throughout the day. So it's a lovely feature. Presumably third-party apps are, I know third-party apps can support handoff. Haven't seen a ton that use that yet. I don't know that I use a ton of stuff that I'm going to want handoff between like an iPhone, iPad, and my laptop. It seems like more something that I'll use like between the Kindle version on my phone and the Kindle version on my iPad. I'm not going to read books and stuff like that on the desktop necessarily. Next, app changes.
Yes, this is the OS that you're going to get if you buy any new Mac product, the Mac Pro or MacBook.
Starting presumably the day it's released, yeah.
And so with that, you have updates with all the native apps. Safari.
So Safari, mostly cosmetic changes. You'll notice there's a lot less window Chrome. One of the things that they changed actually in this version of the OS.
I hate it.
What, the square?
No, the thing I hate in iOS, which is they don't tell you the URL you're on. The actual address.
You can click in to see it.
I don't like that.
That's the future of the web. Chrome does that too now too. So
Chrome does not do that.
You turned it off at some point.
Yeah, I would turn this off on this.
When you open tabs, then they drop down here. They're all super flat. There's no drop shadow or anything like that. Some apps, and I'll show you some apps. I didn't talk about this before, but some apps have a little bit of translucency. I think it might have turned off because we're mirroring or something now. I don't know what's going on with that. Joey, can you switch away, cut back to us for just a sec? I want to make sure I don't put anything. Yeah, so like I'm looking at a message window. There you go. You can come back now. I'm looking at a message window, and usually this is a little frosted. I'm not seeing it frosting in the background here. It must be something about the way we're capturing. We can see it on the dock. There was translucency on Mavericks on the UI. They've dialed that back a lot. So even if you have something that has distinctive images, like if you look at the bottom down here where the dock shows, so you can see that the wallpaper is red through the frosted glass dock. It doesn't show any detail. Like if you have a picture of a tree or something back there, you won't actually be able to see the tree branches back behind that. It'll just be like, it's white and gray and foggy, whatever.
Minor cosmetic changes.
Minor cosmetic changes. Safari shows that usually. I don't know why I'm not seeing it now. Is why I bring it up. There's a couple of other minor things that come in Safari, but for the most part, more web page, less window, and full screen mode, as you can see. I just got your text on my phone again. It's good. You see, it takes advantage of a lot of web page, even on low resolution monitors like this MacBook Air. Next up is iMessage. So I have an iMessage window. You get text and MMS messages in here now. I don't actually know why yours didn't show up. That's super weird. You can mute people just like you can on iOS 8. Mm-hmm. You can add people to conversations. All that stuff, all the stuff that changed in iMessage with iOS 8 also applies to Mavericks now. So they're on parity there, which is a good thing because when they first announced iMessage, there was about a 1 generation lag between new features on iOS and new features on the OS X version of iMessage.
And short voice messages, which is the future.
Yeah, this is all the kids are doing it apparently,
and the old people.
I'm not going to show this here. No, you're not going to show this here because I'll put your phone number up. You can send very short voice messages. You basically click a button. It looks just like the camera button, and instead of sending a picture, it lets you record voice. You release it. You can listen to it again, and then you can send it if you want.
Push to talk for voicemail.
It's not push to talk though.
For voicemail.
But voicemail sucks. Voicemail is the worst.
Not when it's integrated into your app.
I just want push to talk. Hey Norm, are you there?
You gotta buy an iPhone for that. You gotta buy the Apple Watch.
Oh, it's coming. Let's see, what else do we have? Mail.app, there's actually been some kind of neat stuff that's come in here.
Is that something that people use? Because I don't use Mail.app on my MacBook. I use the Chrome browser and just browse,
That's what I do.
And I know that there are a lot of good third-party mail programs.
Yeah, so I've been through all the third-party mail programs. I've used Sparrow on the desktop and on the iPhone. I used Mailbox on the iPhone. I ended up just going back to Chrome because they've added stuff recently that made it much more manageable than it was for a long time. Like this attaches to Exchange clients. So if you're in a corporate situation with a Mac and don't want to use the Mac version of Outlook, which is, in my experience, been really, really hard to use, this is a little bit faster and lighter than that, and is definitely better than web access for Outlook. The things that they've added are things that are like, I think of them kind of as mom features. You can send huge attachments with this now. When you make a new window.
How big is huge?
5 gigabytes.
Wow.
That's
crazy.
It uses your iCloud as a intermediary, basically. Yeah, and so I'm going to drag this in here. This is a 300 meg file, and it's going to freak out for a minute.
Beach ball.
There we go.
There you go.
It says my maximum is 35.9 megabytes. I have 329 megabytes. When I send this, it'll just work.
Okay.
I can send it to you right now. Boom. Yes, send anyway. Yes, use mail drop.
Mail drop is what that is.
Yeah. And that'll just send it. You'll get a link when you open your email. It'll be a link that says, hey, here's a thing. You can click it, download. It's pretty big. The other thing that I really like is this. It's annotations. I don't think I'm probably going to go back to Mail to do this. But when you have an annotation, you can click here and you say,
You have an attachment.
Well, it just listed the attachment was on the previous mail. I don't know why this is crazy slow right now. So I can include the previous attachments. And then when you have an attachment, you can go in here and you can say, oh yeah, I want to mark this up. And that'll pop out a new window. My little computer is really chugging. We're doing some weird video scaling, so maybe that's it. And you can do things like draw on the picture. Like I really like this frame of this cartoon. And it'll make a little circle. Oh. You can squish it, all that stuff. I think you can even go back to making it a free flow if you want. You can put boxes around things. There's a box. You can draw arrows. It just kind of does stuff for you. It's pretty smart. Like this isn't world-changing stuff, but it's neat. And then when you save it,
I wish there was a pen.
Yeah, it would be amazing if there was a touchscreen on this. It would make this really easy to use. When you send it, it will go as an attachment that anybody can open.
Flattened as a JPEG.
Yeah, flattens it as a JPEG, so you don't, non-Safari, non-Apple Mail users will be able to see it.
Sounds like there's more iCloud integration, especially with that storage stuff.
Yeah, so the storage stuff, iCloud has changed dramatically. Previously, it was kind of this weird, crappy bucket for iOS apps to dump files in
that you couldn't access
any other place.
Any place. Like there's no website that you can access. It was a background Dropbox that you're not supposed to tap into.
Even if you were presumably making images that would be useful to have, like a scanner app on your iPhone would make JPEGs. Now those show up as folders on your desktop. I'm going to open up a scanner app on my iPhone.
This is what Steve Jobs said when he said, "Dropbox, you're a feature. You'll rue the day you didn't sell to me."
I don't know if they'll rue the day, but I'm going to use iCloud. I'm going to skip the email. Okay, so here we go. Here's a new scan. Yes, I want to use the camera. Sorry, I haven't set this up since I used my new phone.
So the idea right now is you're taking a picture of a document. It is acting as a scanner, and then it will pop up in your folder in iCloud because it's
just a JPEG
repository. Yeah. And the pricing is different now, so it's cheaper. It's more competitive with plans like Dropbox, with Microsoft storage. 200 gigabytes for $4 a month.
That seems like it's comparable to Google. It seems like a pretty good deal to me.
A terabyte is $20 a month, and this includes your backup storage.
So this is everything. It's photo reel backup storage, shared libraries, the whole thing, the whole kit and caboodle.
Even at 200 gigs, that's a lot of storage. That's if people are worried about their photo storage on their iOS devices. 4 times 12, it's $48 a year. I'd say that's probably a better buy than $25 a year for iTunes Match.
I think absolutely, but you can't store your music in iTunes your iTunes Match music in here. That's the kind of bummer. It feels like that all should eventually. I think all of that stuff will become unified. I don't know how long this is going to take to come across. I probably should have tried this in advance. Yeah. But the upshot is stuff that you save on the desk on your phone shows up. Like these are just Pages documents. I could open them in Pages. The thing that is weird to me is that the photos don't work like that. So the photos are still in a weird separate photo
where you can only tap into it through iPhoto's PhotoStream tab.
Or Aperture.
Or Aperture's PhotoStream tab, or iOS device. You can't go to a website. I imagine it got to be sometime in the future, maybe next year, they're going to relaunch iCloud.com where you can actually access those files.
Well, so they're making, the Photos app is supposed to come out early next year. It's going to be presumably the replacement of both Aperture and iPhoto, and it will hopefully give you that access to that stuff at a file system level. I mean, honestly, all I want is a folder that I can point Lightroom to auto-import pictures so that then I can use Lightroom to manage all of this stuff without having to use Lightroom's kind of janky cloud sync across the phone.
What if, like on Windows right now, if you're a multi-OS user, PhotoStream, I can tap into my PhotoStream in Windows.
Yeah, so Windows is smart enough, it just dumps them in a folder. That's the end around for that if you're a Lightroom user. Right now, so the other catch on all of this stuff is if you have any Macs that you're not going to put Yosemite on right away, you don't want to do the upgrade to iCloud Drive because then you won't have access. You won't be able to. You can get in limbo basically. So this iCloud Drive stuff only works in Yosemite and iOS 8. If you have any legacy devices that are running around iOS 7 or prior versions of OS 10, you want to stay on the old version. Yosemite will know what to do with that, but you can't. The other OSs can't. It doesn't work.
And there's some light fragmentation. I know we talked about iOS 8 earlier. Only 47% of iOS users right now have updated to iOS 8. I think largely because there was that scare with 8.01. But if you are still using iOS 7, maybe you don't want to upgrade to Yosemite just yet.
Well, you can upgrade to Yosemite, just don't upgrade your iCloud Drive.
Which is
You're presented with the option when you sign into iCloud, basically. So we talked about pricing. I think that's all the stuff on iCloud. Grandfathered plans. Right. If you have a grandfathered plan, for example, I was paying I think $40 a year for 25 gigs of storage, which was an absolute ripoff. But because I had 3 iOS devices and I wanted to back them all up, it was pretty much the only way to do it because they wouldn't fit into the 5 gigs that you got free. The backups wouldn't, and I had to pay something to get more space. Now they'll give you the same amount of space that you had before at a steep discount. So instead of paying $40 a year, now I'm paying I think $11, $12 for the whole year for 25 gigabytes, which is it's more expensive per gigabyte than you're paying if you switch to the new monthly plans, but it's still significantly less annually than you'd be paying for those monthly plans. And for my purposes, 25 gigs is more than enough space.
$12, not that bad. Yeah. Again, better than iTunes Match.
Definitely a better deal than iTunes Match, and it works better too. AirDrop. Now AirDrop works from iOS device to Yosemite, so you can even send stuff to yourself. I'm going to send a picture to my Mac right now. See, it sees me pop up there. That's a dopey picture of me.
And just drag and drop.
Here's a picture of a bee that I took. Well, on iOS, you get the normal menu. It's going to pop up. I'm going to make this
Connect.
everyone.
Connect. It sees you.
There we go. It sees me. I have different pictures on the phone and the thing.
Oh.
It knows I'm to be trusted.
Wow. So it didn't even
prompt
Yeah.
me. And there's the picture. It's a bee. I was on the inside of a car window, and there's a bee on the outside of the car window. Yeah. So, like that stuff works really well. That fills a huge hole in the AirDrop. It means that you don't have to have an internet connection to share files with each other, and you don't have to fiddle with USB drives
or email.
Like I've literally been sitting in an airport, wanted to get a picture from my phone to my laptop, and now I can do that super easily. It takes a second to sync up usually. The photo stuff feels super half-baked. John Gruber earlier this month had posted that he feels like the pace of development on iOS and OS X is going way too fast for annual releases. Things are coming out half-baked. We're seeing mistakes like the iOS 8.0.1 update that you alluded to earlier. The fact that they shipped this with no update to photos
when
is
that was
insane.
supposed to be one of the things they announced.
Yeah.
At WWDC.
Just to be clear, the features that are added here are good. The continuity stuff, especially the phone thing, if you use your laptop for work, I think will be really useful. And it works as the speakerphone, at least on this is a mid-2012 MacBook Air, works great. It has all the noise cancellation stuff that you would expect, and it sounds good. The problem is, like, stuff is just a little janky on both sides, the iOS 8 side and the OS X side, that we wouldn't have seen, say, 4 years ago when they were releasing updates every 18 months. And like, I would like to see a return to solid 0.0 releases and not, put us in a situation where you kind of say, you might want to wait until the 0.1 release for this.
Yeah. Do you think Apple has dug itself into a hole with annual releases where it needs, because it feels like hardware upgrades aren't enough every year, it needs to give you the free software upgrade? And this is free.
So yeah, I mean, the trick is annual releases are you expect a certain amount from an annual release. I think they can either go more frequent releases and do every 6 months or every quarterly and have less impactful, but maybe ultimately more impactful over the course of the year releases, where you say, okay, Photos comes out in the springtime and we update iTunes in the fall, and these other smaller incremental updates with big cosmetic changes or significant changes to underpinnings of hardware happening on an annual basis, or just say, look, we're going to do this when it's ready, and it'll be every 18 months. And there'll still be big releases, but we'll take the time to make sure that stuff works well, and we don't delay things like the Photos app until 6 months later. That's what they're doing essentially this time anyways.
What about performance and battery life? Any difference at all?
Haven't noticed a whole lot of difference. Battery life seems maybe a little tiny bit better. Okay. It's it's
That's
difficult to
say if it's better battery life.
It's tough to say because this is a 2-year-old laptop at this point, so the batteries, we're into the golden years of this battery. It's something I use every day. It seems like the apps using significant energy thing in the power dropdown is a little bit more accurate. It hits Chrome really, really hard. Like,
but that's just a red flag or no red flag.
It's basically, look, if you want your battery to last longer, close Mail, close Chrome, turn off Time Machine. Okay. It's not actionable.
There's no management tools or anything.
I mean, there's management tools happening at the API level, but if your app, for example, Chrome doesn't subscribe to that stuff or can't subscribe to that for whatever reason, it's still going to use massive battery. I find that when I'm on an airplane, I want the battery to last a long time. I use Safari instead of Chrome and get a little bit better battery life anyway. So that's OS X Yosemite. It's free.
It's free.
If you have a Mac.
You still have the option of not upgrading if you don't want.
Always.
I mean, Mavericks is fine. If you buy a new laptop, that's what you're going to get.
Yep.
And the thing you should decide is whether you want to opt into things like iCloud.
Yeah, iCloud Drive. At this point, I would say if you have any old devices, maybe hold off, especially if you're a jailbreaker. If you're running iOS 8 on everything now, then it won't hurt you. If you only use one Mac, it won't hurt you. Yeah. If you run OS X Server, you'll need to update that. It's a new version. I think you get free updates on that. I'm using the developer version, so it's difficult. I have no way to tell because the App Store doesn't show me now. but that's it. I like it's a good update, but it's nothing. It's nothing stupendous. Like if we're not to rate apples and oranges against each other, but I think what we've seen in the developer preview for Windows 10 seems like a much bigger jump as you'd expect on a longer release cycle.
Sure.
But
just wait till they add touch.
This is incremental. I want touchscreen Macs now.
I'm gonna say maybe next year. Touch.
We haven't seen Haswell MacBook Airs.
That would be a big feature release.
A big feature.
Guesses as to next year's California-themed code name.
Weed was a big joke at WWDC earlier this year.
Weed was on fire earlier this year, literally. So I don't
probably
think that's
not so good. What's something? They haven't done anything down south yet. So what about like
Hollywood?
Or I was thinking maybe like
what's an iconic
what's the place
landmark
in San Diego where everybody surfs? The beach.
They did a surfing one already.
Oh, they did do a surfing one.
Mavericks is the surfing one.
Could be Humboldt. It's not iconic enough. Redwood.
Reno? That's Nevada.
That's Nevada. Tahoe? Tahoe is a prime candidate,
Lake Tahoe?
Yeah. They're not going to do the Central Valley, the government-created Dust Bowl. That's out of the question. No. They could do Mammoth. Mammoth is a good name.
All right, place your guesses. What's next year's OS X release going to be called?
There you go. We'll see you guys next time.